Hi, everyone. My name is Cece Curran, and I'm an intern with PBS NewsHour Extra this summer. I'm joined by these amazing students, Akib, Eric, Tyler, Rayhan, and their amazing mentor, Dr. Figuerita, to hear about their invention, the personal distance monitor. I had the pleasure of seeing their live presentation at EurekaFest and can't wait to learn more about their invention. To begin, Akib, do you mind describing your invention? While I listened in and might know about it, I'm sure that there are many other people out there who both want to know about it and who could benefit from it.
Sure. So our invention, essentially, we call it the personal distance monitor. It's a device that would help students with ASD learn about personal space and understand the concept of personal space. So it's a device that will vibrate or send any other feedback when the person with ASD is close at any certain threshold to another person. So the person with ASD would come close to another person, and the device would send some sort of audible or haptic feedback to alert the person with ASD.
Got it. And do you mind just outlining a little bit more who else could benefit from it besides obviously the person with ASD?
Well, aside from people with ASD with these personal space issues, anybody with personal space issues can stand to benefit from our device. So this can include children or maybe adults who have a hard time understanding that concept, or anybody.
Awesome. So this next question is for you, Eric. Obviously, you guys were at EurekaFest. That was a few weeks ago. Do you mind just talking about how it was as an experience?
EurekaFest, I would say was really amazing. I mean, we knew that there were other teams from around the U.S. that had these amazing inventions, but we never really saw that, the in-depth presentations that they showed during EurekaFest, and it kind of taught us about how teamwork really matters, and obviously it showed through all these amazing inventions. I mean, people were making roof sprinklers to protect against forest fires. I mean, it was just amazing.
All right, this next question is for you, Tyler. Um, Eric kind of just went into this a little bit, but if you wouldn't mind, continuing the thought, I'm sure would agree, and I definitely thought this. There were a ton of impressive inventions at EurekaFest from the other inventors. What did you learn from the other teams while you were there?
I felt like I learned a lot about how environmental issues affect the like different inventions that come out of a certain area. So like how Eric said, a team in California made a device to help prevent forest fires. Something like that in Long Island, although maybe like important, it's not as important as somewhere in California where forest fires are much more regular. And there were different like areas around the country that the environment shaped and affected their invention, which was really interesting.
Got it. So, Tyler, at EurekaFest, what kind of feedback did you receive on your invention? And are there any revisions that you'd make now after EurekaFest?
Yeah, so we received some critique, words of criticism from some people, where some people felt like the device should be, obviously some people felt like it should be small, but we also had people questioning like if it's like consistent and accurate. So we wanted to address those and further advance the accuracy of our device. So that was something that we learned, but most of the feedback we got from EurekaFest was positive and saying this was a great invention.
Awesome. That's so great to hear. Okay.
If I can add on, so the most criticism we received was from an event that Levels NYT did called the Meet Grant Technical Review. This was when we presented our device to like a big audience. I think the audience size was around like 60 people, and the response there was actually very positive. There were some concerns about the cost, the size, how wide the field of view was, but we incorporated all those concerns into a specific design criteria. Like the field of view has to be 60 degrees, and the distance has to be at least 6 feet that I can detect, and stuff like that.
This next question is for Rayhan. So what was one major challenge or setback that you experienced along the way? And this could either be at EurekaFest or just in the process leading up to the grant or after getting the grant.
I feel like in general, throughout the entire year of the grant, I feel like the coronavirus pandemic really inhibited our chances of like meeting together and working in person. Because from school experience, it was like shown that doing things in person are much more effective and much more of an educative experience than doing it online. But also at the same time, being online gave a lot more flexibility to our schedules. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of a trade-off to like the things that we could get done if there was no pandemic. We can actually meet in person.
All right. And so this is my last question. So I'd actually like everybody to answer this, including Dr. Figuerito. What advice would you give to other students looking to invent for the first time? I'll first give the question to Akib.
Well, that's a very general question, but what I would say is be specific in your design criteria, have small goals that you can meet, say every day or every week, and work within the resources that you have. And you can get a lot done with very few resources, even if you have no money at all. There's a lot of free resources, such as like the ones at your library or maybe the ones at school that you can leverage to create these and meet these small goals that you set for yourself. And be sure to have very specific design criteria, like the one where we have the device has to be able to detect within 6 feet. Have criteria like those for your invention, for your idea.
Got it. Next, I'll give the question to Dr. Figuerita.
Well, I think for me, the most important advice I would give students is you have to really be clear about what is it that you want to invent. You have to understand that on a very deep level. What exactly are you doing? And this is what is happening here as, we're in a lab at another high school, and the high school here is putting together an Invent Team grant. They're finalists for an Invent Team grant next year. And that's the biggest advice that we keep giving them. What exactly is it that you're trying to do? Who's going to benefit from it? And how can you just maximize those, that positive impact that invention is going to have on that group of people?
That's awesome advice. Tyler, what advice would you give to other students inventing for the first time?
I would probably give advice of if you have a mentor or if you're asking for help from other people, it's important to actually take the feedback, because some people are much better at different programs or different processes than others. Because I know from experience, me and Akib's experience, we were a little bit stubborn in the beginning, and we had a mentor named Glenn Merowitz, and he would give us some criticisms, and we would take some of them, but some of them we didn't take in the beginning. And I felt like if we had taken them right away, we would have gotten a lot more progress done in a less amount of time. So I feel like listening to other people and reaching out for help is very important.
That's great advice. Rayon, what advice would you give to other students looking to invent for the first time?
Some advice I would give is to be really prepared to work in a team, because this truly is a collective team effort. It's a reason why the T in Invent Team is capitalized here, because it's really important that you get along with your peers and you cooperate in a good way, because there's a lot of subdivisions, like there's a finance category and engineering category, and it's really important that everybody works efficiently in their own thing and you all collaborate together to truly do good at this project.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for joining me again. I really cannot express how impressed not only I was, but also Vicky and the rest of us at PBS NewsHour Extra were. I cannot wait to see where this goes next. And I just want you guys to know how much you're helping other people, and how I appreciate, and I'm sure other people really appreciate how much time you put into this to help others. So thank you.